Hey guys, day 2 of, not sure what we're calling this, but we'll figure something out. But I wanted to give you guys a quick look of the garden area, as I call it, and just give you an idea of what I'm dealing with here and just how bad I've let it get. And this is kind of embarrassing, but this is all about being open and honest, so I'm going to flip you around and give you the grand tour of what we're going to try and get done today. Alright, here we are in the garden area, and this is what neglect looks like, guys. This is how gardens go bad. This is actually really embarrassing, but you know, it's all about an honest look at what it is I've neglected to do and what it is I want to do with the time I have now that I'm not working a full-time job. And so you can see here we've got some trees that I planted a couple years ago, and I've actually got a video of this where I did a tour of the quote-unquote food forest. Right here we've got a couple of pear trees here in front of me, and you can see all the mess that I've let grow up here. You've got blackberry bushes and trees and raspberry bushes and elderberries. And then you've got tons and tons of weeds in these beds where I've not done anything at all this year to control. And so I guess we'll just take a walk along. You can see here we've got an elderberry, and then all along the bottom here you got raspberry bushes that just keep coming back. And here and there you've got some clover, you got some lemon balm, actually. There's a big blackberry cane sticking out along with all these pokeberries. Here's what's left of the main raspberry section for this year, and I've got comfrey mixed in here and there along with the beach ball for some reason. I'm not sure what value that adds, but there you go. Oh, there's the chickens. Moving along, we've got a plum tree that's getting attacked by Japanese beetles at the moment, along with a giant bush of comfrey there at the bottom. One thing I want to do with this comfrey is chop and drop, and then I want to cover this whole bed with wood chips before all the fall rains get here. And then this whole mess, I don't even know what these are. There's I think there's a blackberry cane somewhere in the middle of all that, but this is all coming out. This is all garbage. Then we get over here. More garbage, lots of plantains, some lemon balm down here. So that's nice. Here's a pawpaw tree, struggling to make it, trying to find its way in the shady world over here. And then we got more garbage, some more comfrey bushes at this point. They're really big. I'm gonna make use of those. One thing I'm gonna do as well is what you can do is you can chop up all these comfrey leaves, you can ferment them, basically make a tea out of them, and then you can spray them on your beds. So that's definitely something I want to do, and that'll help spread the nutrient around and hopefully give you some more fertile soil, maybe a little bit faster than a natural breakdown. And there's another pawpaw tree there. I don't recall if I said that or not. So moving along the other side, by the way, all these things are growing. Here's another plum tree that was here when we bought the house. It flowers really early, so we get almost nothing out of it because the frost knocks all the blooms off. And here's an old chestnut tree that we had that was starting to cause problems. Lots of limbs were dying and falling off, and I trimmed it back to almost nothing. You can see how vigorous it is and growing back. I think it wants to stay a tree, so I might take some cuttings and start some chestnut trees pretty soon here. You can hear the birds in the background. This is my other bed. And by the way, these beds are they're not hugelkultur. They're basically, I dug a ditch, put a bunch of wood in it, mounded it up, and then covered all the wood in the dirt that I brought out of the hole, and also some compost and some wood chips. So there is a wood core to these beds, but they're not very high, so they're not actually, I call them woody beds. I I got the inspiration for that from Jack Spearco at the Survival Podcast. What you're looking at here is a peach tree, but it's a the peach tree itself got knocked back by the cold the winter that I planted them, and this is actually the rootstock, which I think is loring, if I recall. So I'm actually not sure what to do with these. I don't know if I should kill them and knock them back, or if I should try to harvest rootstock from them and try to graft my own peach trees, because I've got two. You can see just how sad my garden is here. I've got a tomato that needs to come out. I've got a jujube, and I believe this is a lang. This is the lang jujube. Pepper plants, which I got some peppers off of. They look like they're done, so those will come out today. And here's another peach tree that died, and now we have a rootstock bush. Lots of pokeberries, lots of horrible weeds because I'm a terrible gardener. And you can see I actually have a really big goji bush over here that flowered a lot but didn't actually fruit. So I'm a little worried that maybe I need more bushes and I didn't realize it, or I just don't have a suitable soil for berries, because I've only got maybe 4 really small berries off of there. So that's something I need to look into as well. Here's my other jujube. If that one's a lang, then this one's a lee, I believe. The other one fruited. This one didn't fruit this year. I got a few, I'm not sure what you call them, berries or fruits off the other one. And then moving on, we've got more horribly neglected tomato plants with about 6 green tomatoes on them right now. More pokeberries everywhere. Cannel randomly in there for who knows what reason. Looks like an empress tree growing out of that one. And then we've got our last tomato plant. This one's got a bunch of rotten tomatoes on it that I'm going to feed to the chickens later. And then we have an actual peach tree that is actually edible and will produce some fruit next year after I give it a good trim come this fall. And I think it's going to be one of the few productive trees I have next year. I'll have peaches and I'll have plums, and I might get lucky and get some pears. Every other tree died because voles ate it, ate all the roots. So I planted 18 trees, I think, and half of them died. They were killed, they were eaten down to a stick. When it came springtime, the voles left me a bunch of sticks where once my trees were. They ate all of the roots. So that was a hard spring. So this fall I'd like to plant more trees to fill in all the gaps here. They were on about 10-foot spacing. Now they're on roughly about 20-foot spacing. So that's the garden. The other thing I'm going to do today is along the driveway, it needs a trim. This crabgrass is really coming in on the driveway. So if I don't want the driveway to get broken up along the edges, I've got a lot of trimming to do. And I got to figure out something to do that I can plant along the edges here so that it'll keep the crabgrass at bay. It's really hard to do, but I'm sure there's something that I can do that'll fight the crabgrass back, that'll be beneficial, and that'll be self-pruning, so that when it lays down on the driveway and you drive over it, it just breaks off, or if you walk over it, it breaks off. So I don't have to trim, because I don't want to trim. I don't want to have to mix the gas, have to fix the carburetor every time. So maybe I need to get an electric trimmer, but still, I don't want to trim. And so there's got to be something I can plant along the side here that'll get rid of that issue for me. So that's the plan for today. I'm going to clean up the garden, going to trim along the driveway, and I'll update you guys tonight. Alright, just real quick, I thought I'd show you guys exactly what I'm doing here. Go ahead and give you a shot of my good side while I do this.
So all I'm doing is I'm just chopping this stuff up, and it's called chop and drop. So these guys worked real hard to go down in the ground and build up a nice root system. And so we want to leave that intact because that's going to build up soil, it's going to put carbon down in the soil, and that's all we're trying to do. That's the basis for everything. And so I'm just going to be chopping this up into little pieces with the trimmers and letting it just fall to the ground. And then later on, I'm going to get some wood chips and cover this whole bed with wood chips so it suppresses all the weeds and gives me a nice place to start the fall garden. And so all that stuff's going to break down. All these tiny pieces that I'm putting into the soil, it's going to start to break down. It's going to feed the soil. So I'm not ripping anything out. I'm just cutting it all down in small pieces and letting it do its thing. We're working with nature. That's all there is to it. Hey guys, all right, so several delays later, I finally finished trimming up the garden. So I say trimming, but really I just knocked a bunch of stuff down. I got a lot of work left to do, but the kids are home. The wife will be home soon, and I'll have to you know, go inside, be a dad, be a husband. So I think the work's about done for the day. So I just went through and knocked down a whole bunch of weeds, lots of pokeberry. I found a lot of bee balm in here actually, or not bee balm, sorry, lemon balm. That's what this is. I smelled lemon a lot while I was trudging through here. I guess I trampled a bunch that I didn't notice. I cut down the peppers, cut down all the tomatoes. I found a few rogue blackberry bushes inside the the trees here. So hopefully I'll be able to work with this from here. But the big thing, we'll walk across the other shit, but the big message from all this to me is that I've been putting this off for months. I don't even know honestly how long it's been, and it altogether it probably took me, I don't know, I'll say 2 hours to clear all this stuff down. I've got maybe another hour left to work just to cut all the big stuff down, and then I'll come through with the lawnmower and finish it up. But I let 2 hours of work get to this, you know, and I'm just sitting here out here doing this, and I'm like, you know, this is fun. You know, I'm having a good time. My back is sore, I'm sweating, and you know, at the end of this, it's like for 2 hours, I let it grow up for how many months? I mean, it's really ridiculous when I think about it that way. I wish I'd come out here and done this a lot sooner. Oh, there's something on my plum tree here that
Might need to take a look at there. I'm not sure what that is. Anybody has a guess if that's a problem, let me know. So yeah, I knocked back all the raspberry bushes, knocked back all the pokeberries. There's a couple elderberries over here that are going to be left alone for the most part, but I found a big stand of lemon balm here that I'm just leaving alone. And it's still a mess, so I'm gonna do my best to cover it with compost and wood chips and do the old comfrey tea on there, and hopefully I can make a go at some fall gardening, which I've never done before. So that's it. Just wanted to give you a quick tour, and I'll talk to you again soon. Hey guys, so that's the end of day 2. I really appreciate you sticking around for it. I'm sure you noticed I'm pretty bad at video editing. This is actually the very first time I've ever done it. So if you got any pointers or tips, I'm open to them. I'm using Lightworks, the free version. It was recommended by someone I know, but I'm not tied to it by any means. And tomorrow, I think we've actually got something coming that I ordered before I got laid off, and it's a big something, so it's going to be interesting. Unfortunately, I was unable to cancel it once ordered without losing a bunch of money that I'd already put into it. So we'll talk about that tomorrow, and we're also going to talk about what I did to help prepare for this, the things that I did while I still had a job to prepare for the potential of losing a job. I didn't think I'd ever need it, but I'm really glad I did what I did, and so we'll talk about that tomorrow as well. And I'll share the delivery of something pretty big that is going to be useful, but I wish I didn't have to pay for it. So that's it for today, but I hope you guys have a great one, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.